not as the result of any sort of mistake as such, but Wigan's defensive line was a right mess, and Catalan made the right call, the right play execution, and got through. And on that play was when Thomas Luluai bashed his head into Luke Walsh and done his jaw in, and that's worrying because obviously he broke his jaw, as we'll all remember, playing against Scotland for the Kiwis in the autumn. Wigan, Catalan's attack didn't really do much. They were running quite hard. They were probably a little more enthusiastic for most of the first half than Wigan were, but Wigan's fitness in the end told. I would suggest Wigan's conditioning is superior to every other side in the league, I would argue, and it's been shown so many times that I think it's a justified opinion to state. But this was another one of those examples where Catalan just fell off the pace a little bit defensively, and their line speed stopped, their impact with the ball stopped in the second half, and the spaces started to open up. And when you've got players like George Williams and Liam Farrell and Joe Burgess on the golden edge.
No. You can call it a tribe called Liam.
I did it.
But we're not calling it the golden edge.
But if you've seen the highlights of this, you'll see how many mistakes there were. There was Tony Gigo scored a try from a drop ball, but then returned the favour dropping a ball that Liam Forsyth was able to score. Tom Davies scored 2 really good breakaway tries from his own perspective and got the try scoring that he's deserved from the efforts he's been putting in over the last month or so, because he's not really been racking up the big try numbers.
4 in the last 2 games then, so he's improving, isn't he?
Tom Davies, 4 in the last 2 games.
That's what they said on BBC.
Well, I was at Wakefield when he didn't score a try at all.
BBC are on there. I can show you the match report. Well, then, for shame, BBC.
Yeah.
I had that down as one of my things to bring up.
No. Maybe it's 4 in total. 3 or 4 in total.
Okay.
Well, until this game, our left edge in total, for all the players that have played there all season, had only scored 8 tries.
Yeah.
Whereas now they scored another 4 tries in this game. Liam Forsyth showed a lot more good signs. This was all despite Willie Isaac making a few mistakes, when he was trying to play the ball, or he was taking kickoffs. It didn't make any sense. But yeah, the Catalans were good in the first half, but Wigan finally got a hold of not making errors in the last 20 minutes when they were also the superior fitness. So that's why the scoreline was what it was in the end.
There you go. Fair enough. Yeah. No, I was wrong about Tom Davies. I misread the BBC report. It's just me being a muppet.
Fair enough.
So, what did the stats tell us?
It might have been Joe Burgess in his last 2 games.
Well, maybe so.
Because he scored 2 against St Helens as well and didn't play against Wakefield.
There you are. Okay, so tell us the stats story. The
stats reflect the easy victory for Wigan that this ended up being. The only blip for them was a 15-11 error count, but otherwise 598 metres more at 2 metres per carry better average game, producing 11-1 in clean breaks. I mean, that's the thing with Catalan, for all their endeavour. They didn't break through very often, and they had to rely on misread kicks or errors from kicks to score tries, really, in breaks. And then 12-8 in successful offloads, added to 1 fewer penalty conceded and 6.8% better team tackle success.
Okay, so individually then, who stood out for the Warriors?
Well, Tom Davies scored 2 tries, 7 tackle busts, and ran for an SLP all-time record 309 running metres.
That is astounding. Well done, young man.
Joe Burgess, 2 tries, 112 metres, 2 clean breaks. Obviously, Tom Davies got 90 of those on the first try with quick thinking from Lulu. I flipped it out wide.
Still take 90 metres off 309. It's still phenomenal.
He grabbed 50 or so on his second try, but he still did all the hard work that he needed to do as well to help the forwards out throughout the game. Joe Burgess, 2 tries, 112 metres, 2 clean breaks. Liam Farrell, a try, 162 running metres. George Williams, 3 try assists. He's out on his own on 16 try assists so far this season. I think he's 5 or 6 ahead of the next best contender in Super League. 7 tackle balls, 136 metres, 2 clean breaks, 3 successful offloads. And I've decided on Benny Flowers, my last call on the Wigan 5 this week. 127 metres, 2 clean breaks. I would say it was one of his best performances of the season. And the stats reflect that. He was doing really well, and he was instrumental in Tom Davies' second try, sort of recovering from the error that Catalan had made and getting the ball out wide quickly and that sort of thing. So
there
good stuff.
Okay, so for Catalan, did anyone impress?
Well, Louis Anderson got 2 tries, one of them from a kick that Wigan seemed to want to let him catch, but he finished it well. And the other one, the good line into space when Wigan's defence went missing. So well done to him. Vince Dupont ran for 104 metres. Richie Myler, 2 try assists. Mikael Simon, 110 metres off the bench. Good effort from him. And a nod to Fuad Jahar, who scored the try we've not really talked about from Catalan's perspective. That again got the field position, came off Wigan errors, but he was going away. He was being tackled away from the goal line when he managed to reach his left arm out and touch it down. So every credit to him for managing to pull off the finish in a scenario that looked very unlikely that a try would be scored. So well done to him.
There you go. Okay, so that was a shortened round 11 of Super League with the top 8 sides from last year playing off. What does that do for us, Mark, in terms of the standings?
Yes, so with everyone having played everyone once now, Castleford are still top on points difference from Leeds. Wigan in 3rd and Hull in 4th are just a point behind, with Salford then just another point behind in 5th. Then a 3-point gap to Catalan in 6th, with Wakefield and St Helens making up the top 8, but Saints are only in there on points difference ahead of 9th place Warrington. Lee and Huddersfield sit 3 points behind Wyre, with Widnes sat on the bottom but closing the gap this week.
Yeah, congratulations to them. Okay, so what does all that mean in terms of our predictions? Super Brew and Dream Team, a poor week for me.
Well, a couple of obvious surprises and enjoyable ones from the competition's perspective, but it meant you went 1 for 4, I'm afraid, and I was only marginally better, 2 for 4. I've extended my overall cumulative lead 41 out of 68 to your 39 out of 68.
There you go. And what does that do to the Super Brew and Dream Team standings then?
Well, it was Alex Jewett who's low down in the table but managed to pick 4 from 4 to win the yellow cap this week. Sean Orton, though, goes top of the table ahead of Colin Render, who slips.
And in the Dream Team, who's doing well?
Paul Wilson stays top, but in a low-scoring week generally, obviously, with only the 4 games and lots of players whose selection would have been hard to be sure of. It was 39th placed Sarah Morgans with 516 points that had the best score, so well done to Sarah.
Big week for that lady. Thank you. Congratulations, Sarah. Right, that is Super League taken care of. Let's take a look now at some results from elsewhere in Rugby League. So, 2 results from elsewhere in the world of Rugby League. It was the 5th round of the Challenge Cup this weekend, played over the weekend, Mark. Start of Friday night, Leeds were 64-28 winners over Doncaster. Creditable performance from the League One outfit, but Leeds too strong for them.
Yeah, Colin Render said, Donny are really good at kickoffs. That's not a joke. Yeah, they regained possession several times by doing inventive kickoffs. If only their defence was better in the first half, they could have made more of a game of it. Special mention to Jack Walker, who got a first half hat-trick on his debut. As a good fullback is, he was always around on every attack, causing problems for the defence. Sorry, I butchered that, Colin.
No, that's all right. Lee Centurions were defeated.
I was just going to say...
Sorry, go on.
I was going to talk about contested restarts, because it's something Phil Clark talks about quite a lot on the Sky commentary. And obviously Doncaster had a few tricks up the sleeve to make them a little bit more contested here in this one. I've not seen clips of it.
No, I was thinking...
Sounds interesting,
There's something floating around. I like them. I like seeing them up. I would like to see them more. Rather than just towards the end of games where things are getting desperate. I wouldn't hold it against teams giving it a run out, but it is a percentage play, isn't it? So you've got to be confident in it. But if Doncaster have got a few tricks up the sleeves, you might start seeing this become fashionable.
Possibly so.
And again, credit to Jack Walker, who I thought was dead, to be honest with you, having saved Blackburn Rovers all them years ago.
Well, he's only
17. He must be in his 90s.
He's only 17, this kid, so he could possibly be the reincarnation of it. He's probably not. Maybe Jack Walker wasn't alive when this one was born.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
But the other. 2000 he would have been born, wouldn't he?
I don't like that. I don't like that one little bit.
The Mikael Olejski, is it?
Yes, Mikolaj Olejski.
He made his debut in the Rhino senior team. We've seen him play for the Bulls. I was very impressed with him when I saw him play in person for the Bulls, and he scored a try on debut as well. So every credit to him, and I hope he goes from strength to strength, because he's got an interesting story, which is nice, and we like that. for certain, but also just from what I've seen of him play, I was impressed. So I want to see a player progress that I feel like when you've seen him at the, ground level sort of thing, you always spark more interest in those sort of players.
Definitely. No, I rate him very highly. Very talented young forward. Lee were defeated at home, 10 points, 223 by Championship side Hull KR. Do we call that an upset?
Difficult to say, isn't it? Obviously, Hull brought back all of their experienced players that they cheated out of a flight to Toulouse.
Yes,
over Easter, and that will have had some impact for sure. For Lee, I don't know what's gone wrong because Drinkwater's back in the side. They did have a mixed up backline, but and they do keep making changes. And I'm not sure if Reynolds played fullback or Ridyard did. I'm guessing Reynolds did, but not quite where they were at before. But with Drinkwater back, I thought their attack could have more organisation and I think some of the forwards are getting back in. I don't know what it is.
Ropey
it's weird.
Stuff. Yeah.
It's weird to see, but not a massive upset because it's 2 full-time outfits, probably with similar-ish cap spend on the field, at least in this game, because all of KR's big guns pretty much were there, and Lee were missing a few of theirs. So, yeah.
Fair play to Hull FC. Hull KR. Salford 29, Toronto 22. A close run thing between the Super League and the League One outfit, Mark.
Brian Davies said, excellent first half, but second was really poor. Toronto kept making unforced errors and Salford were 5 drives and a kick or knocked on. They did what was needed to win, and dumb play from Toronto reinforced my doubts about Rowley having what is required to get them into Super League. The small crowd only highlighted the filthy language of some of the Salford fans, and it's easy to see why they struggle to attract more fans.
Oh, there you go.
Did it also highlight the filthy language of...
That's not just filthy language if he said it. It's not filthy language if he said it, is it? It's fucking utterly reprehensible and stupid. So, yeah, fuck that guy if he's guilty of that.
It is.
I agree. Go on.
Do we want to talk about that more? Because it seems like it's a lot of consternation at the time, people not really realising what happened. But obviously with these verbal incidents, you don't always pick that up.
No, that's it. With
watching on from the stands,
Justin Khan sent off,
this one,
given a red card for allegedly racially abusing Ryan Bailey, which if he's found to have done, then I would sternly suggest they throw the absolute book at him.
He's expected to plead not guilty, and I believe the line is that he called him a fat rather than a black.
Right.
That's the line I've seen floated out there as a rumour, sort of speculative. If that's the case, then it's still foul and abusive language.
Yeah, he still deserves to get sent off.
So it's not, the ban wouldn't be carrying quite the same level as it would be deserved to be if it was a sort of racially linked incident, certainly, and we don't condone that in any way, shape or form. No matter what Ryan Bailey has done on a rugby field.
Whatever Ryan Bailey's done on a rugby field, it doesn't give anybody the right to disparage his heritage. And to be fair, Ryan Bailey's got a lot of championship rings on his hand. So, bit of respect to the guy. He's got a sight more than Justin Khan will ever end up with. So, if he has done that, I of course, throw the fucking book at him.
In terms of the game itself, I haven't seen any of it. Credit to Toronto managing to get it on, though, on a global feed. They got apparently 407,000 views, rising once they're counting all the views that have come in from different places.
Right.
On the streams that they ran.
That's good.
That doesn't include the illegal views that might have been sourced around in the UK potentially.
Sneaky.
I didn't see any of it.
No.
But yeah, that is a big number and does give some credit to it being the future. It's a strange number to take too much from because it's not concurrent views, so it could be someone whose feed kept falling out and then going back in.
Right,
Do you see what I mean? I don't know. It doesn't say it's unique views or...
Okay.
But still, big numbers, whatever way you dress it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the kind of result that's good for Toronto Wolfpack in the sense that they've been doing absolute shoo-ins previously, and it's not particularly entertaining after a certain amount of time to watch a team winning 80-0, whereas this would engender a certain amount of support and kind of passion in their growing young infant fan base, I would suggest. To see them run so close with the Super League side, that's something that they can build on and carry forward, isn't it?
Yeah, I would like to now see them start playing more North American players in the side, especially with them next week starting up at home in Lamport Stadium.
There you go.
They still should be putting teams to the sword, even if you are playing more of your heritage players, but instead you sign Ryan Braley and you're not going to be playing Reece Jacks or whatever. I think that's not the kind of move that I want to see in this League One procession that
they're on. Yeah, absolutely. The big surprise result of the round, though, happened at the John Smith